In this video, the directions are to solve the right triangle. Well, when they say solve the right triangle, they mean tell them everything about the right triangle. They want to know all of the sides and all of the angles. Well, right triangles have 3 sides and 3 angles. The angle is definitely the easiest to get in this particular problem because we know that the 3 angles of a triangle always add up to 180. And this angle is 90, and this angle is 55. So you can just take 180 minus 90 minus 55. So 180 minus 90 minus 55, and you get 35. So we know that this angle is 35 degrees. That's a really bad 5. 35 degrees. All right, so that is one answer on this triangle. We're still missing 2 things. We now have all 3 sides. We now have all 3 angles. Now we need to find all 3 sides. So in order to find a side of a right triangle, if you only have one side, you have to use some trig. So let's grab a color and let's label our triangle. First side, the side that's across from the right angle, is always the hypotenuse. I'm going to use the 55 just because that was given to us, but you could use the 35 if you want to label your triangle. So I'm going to make this side O, and this side is going to be A. All right, so I need to solve for O and A, and I'm only given H. So what you need to do is just pick one. Like, okay, let's all solve for O. All right, so I'm going to put an X right here. That's what I want to solve for. I'm going to need to use O and H in order to solve for X. So O and H uses sine for SOHCAHTOA. So sine, I'm going to say the sine of my angle. And the angle that I used to label the triangle was 55 degrees. So the sine of 55 degrees is equal to O over H. So that's going to be X over 3. And then I'm just going to solve this equation. To get X by itself, I would need to multiply by 3, and I get X is equal to, and so in your calculator you just type sine of 55 and then close your parentheses times 3. And I get that X is 2.46 if you round correctly. 2.46. So this is one side of the triangle. This side down here is 2.46. All right, now I'm going to get a different color. Okay, and we're going to solve for A now. So this time I still have H, and now I want to solve for A. So which trig ratio uses H and A? Well, that's cosine. So now I'm going to set up a new problem. The cosine of my angle, which is 55 degrees, is equal to, and A over H, well, A is what I'm solving for, so I'm going to put an X there, over H, which is 3, and then you just solve. So you multiply by 3 on both sides. You get X is equal to the cosine of 55 times 3. I get 1.72. Now, some people may have noticed that right here, when you got this 2.46, you now had 2 sides of the triangle. And you could have used Pythagorean theorem. In fact, I'm going to show you that Pythagorean theorem would work. If you had used the 3 for your hypotenuse and the 2.46 for one of your sides, you could have done a squared plus 2.46 squared equals 3 squared. All right, so whenever I square the numbers I know, 2.46 squared, I get a squared plus 6.05 equals, and 3 squared is 9. And you can subtract 6.05, and you get a squared is equal to 2.95. and then you just take the square root of 2.95, and you would get A is equal to, the square root of 2.95 is 1.72. So you can see that you get the same answer either way, whether you did trig again or if you had chose to do Pythagorean theorem at this point. So when you get the directions to solve a right triangle, just realize that there are several different methods that you can use.